Hey, what's up, people? Like I said before, back now to do another video discussing some of my thoughts on the recent Uncharted 3 beta. Right from jump, I'll just go ahead and list the things that I don't like out of the gate. I'm not feeling the new slow movement. Feels kind of clunky. I'm not feeling the boosters, the kickbacks, which are basically kill streaks. I'm not feeling paid boosters. What else was it? Oh, definitely not feeling the power plays, and I am seriously not cool with the team spawning. All of these things to me tend to be backwards in terms of competitive gaming. I don't really have a problem with the shooting. Some people have been complaining on the forums about the new recoil on the AK and some of the other weapons, but I don't know. I don't really have an issue with any of that sort of thing. That type of change to a sequel is like whatever, that's fine. You get used to that. But as far as the movements being clunky and slow compared to the last game, that's something I hope they change for the full release this fall. In fact, out of all the gripes I have with this game, and there are a lot because the game is quite janky, but out of all the things that I have problems with, if I could just get one thing for them to fix, it would be to make the movement faster, more fluid, like it was in Uncharted 2. Heck, even if they leave the team spawning in, because like I said, now I just be a dirtbag now. I just hoard power weapons out because no one is ever alone in this game. So now I'm just like, bump it. I'm always going for the power weapons because you just kind of get tired of seeing someone and setting up to make a move, and then boom, two more people appear. But anyways, I'm trying not to beat a dead horse in terms of my gripes with the game. As for the maps, I think Chateau is okay. It is a map where people just sort of camp out in the treasure room, but it seems like it's starting to get blown up. People are learning ways to kind of shut that kind of nonsense down. Airstrip map, I think, is a little bit too big for an Uncharted game. I mean, it's a 5 versus 5 game, so I don't think a massive map like that is really necessary, especially one where in a game where you allow people to spawn in on teammates. It tends to shoehorn the action in one area and one area alone at all times, really. In fact, I was playing a few matches just tonight where, and I'm starting to see more of this, where the entire opposing team, they all just came out with sniper rifles and thought that they were just going to pick us off, but they weren't that good. Another game I played tonight was where the opposing team just sort of camped out on the turrets until we eventually killed them, and then they would just choose a different turret or a different area to hold up in. And since they can spawn on each other, I mean, if you happen to drop one of them, you have to kill all of them in order to get them off of there. So it kind of makes for an aggravating experience, and it tends to just sort of make the whole match feel boring, to put it bluntly. But yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think they really need to rein in the map size. I hope the other maps that ship with the game aren't this large because, again, it's a 5 versus 5 game, and now they allow you to join games late, which I really don't think they should do, because you could have a night where you're just joining matches that are at 38-46, and it's just like, what's the point of even playing that point there? But it's a 5 versus 5, and you could still find yourself playing 3-on-2 or 3-on-3, and playing on airstrip like that is kind of boring. Now, it seems in hardcore mode that they only put one power weapon on the airstrip map, and that's the RPG after a while. And I don't know, I'm kind of thinking they need to put the hammer back in. There's one in the truck and there's one on the platform inside. The only reason I say this is, it didn't even occur to me to think about this until after I played that match where the team was just sort of camping in spots until we killed them all. basically they were having an advantage until the RPG would respawn, and then one of us would pick it up and then just, rocket all of them, And it's, I would rather them just shrink the maps, but if they don't, they need to do something to counteract that sort of thing, because it makes for an extremely boring gameplay experience, especially in a game where that's supposed to be as mobile as Uncharted. Why would you want to camp? But onto as far as boosters are concerned, something that just occurred to me too is this. There's one booster that is potentially game-breaking, and the one I'm talking about, I forgot the name of it, but it's the one where if you kill someone and you go over to their body and you taunt, you get ammunition for whatever weapon you're carrying. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, what if I'm rolling with the pistol or the hammer or the shotgun or the T-bolt rifle, which is a one-shot rifle kill, or the RPG, and I'm making a point to kill people and to be close enough to run over, taunt over their body, and get more ammunition for the power weapon. I mean, that can completely destroy any kind of balance in this game. So that's something they definitely need to look into. I haven't tried that out or anything like that, nor will I ever really. Someone can probably confirm it if they want, but as for positive stuff, I like the character customization as far as the clothes are concerned. The unfortunate thing is the unlock system is very tedious, because they allow you to pick up the same treasure over and over. I mean, I think last night I was playing, I must have picked up the Nepal lion like 5 times in under an hour, and that gets pretty irritating. What else was it? There was a few things. I like what they did with the handgun, the para. It's not as powerful as the handgun was in Uncharted 2, and that's fine. But it's not like a useless weapon either. So I'm cool with that. In fact, the rumor has it that they kind of buffed it a little bit during the last patch, so I guess that explains why I'm seeing like 3 or 4 people on opposing teams trying to run and gun with it and free fire with it. But it's not overpowered by any stretch of the imagination. At this point, I don't think any gun really is overpowered. Some people will say differently, but that's garbage. They're mistaken. Ain't nothing. There's no gun in this game right now that is overpowered in any way, really. I will say that loadouts is not the best idea in my opinion, because again, you start to mess with balance there, because you now have, again, you could have entire teams that roll out with sniper rifles, whereas in the last game on the map there was usually about 2 rifles tops, if that, and what that did was keep it from just becoming a silly ass sniper match. But these are things that I can still play. I still have fun with the game. It's just sort of bittersweet, because even if I'm having fun, I always realize that, yeah, it's just cool, but it's not nearly as fun as the last game, One of the last things I want to mention as far as negative is concerned is the damage. Now, the health is fine, My issue here is that the damage is inconsistent. There are times where I may do something, I may shoot a certain amount of burst or melee or whatever, and it will drop somebody quick, and other times I'll do the same thing and it won't. Like I've pumped like 4 bursts into people and they just ran off, and there's been other times where I pumped 1.5 or 2 bursts into them and they went down just like that. So I think it's either a connection thing or just something they need to look into. Yeah, like I said, man, I know there's the haters out there. Anytime you say something negative about the beta, they act like, it's some sort of a personal insult. These are just my opinions. And no, I'm not of the camp that's like, oh, I'm not buying this game or whatever. I'm still going to buy it, because the single player is definitely going to be dope. It's just, from the beta, from what I'm seeing, it's not as good as Uncharted 2. Anyways, peace out.